people tend to personalize things, which is something like I told you, I struggle with.
All do.
And the key thing always goes back to that understanding in totality. And when you could do that, like you're saying, you could have better relationships in general. You could have a better approach with your life.
Yep.
The one thing that I commend you about in general is that what people lack, and once again, like shout out to Ty, your, how do I say this? Your healthy expression. You got a healthy expression. Yeah. And that's what people, not even people, I think even myself, I'm always reminding myself, you know, I can perceive, feel how I want about any circumstance in life, and I think even my mother has told me this, when I used to get upset with my dad, write it down. You don't need to yell about it.
Vocalize it so much.
Yeah, you don't need to get aggressive,
right.
You know, because that's not going to lead you anywhere, usually,
right.
Especially against your dad. Like, that's not going, what the hell is that? That's going to get ass whooping,
right.
You know what I mean? So, I think, a lot of times, what I find is just having that healthy expression.
Man, I just thank you for that, bro. You hit home with that because it's like that's something I practice. It's not something that comes out of me all the time. We spoke about it earlier in terms of like I'm personally so used to the physical, and I don't have that no more. I didn't have that release, so I found, and it's funny. I think this is kind of a way of how this creative energy comes from. I think it stems from a lot of that. I get it out through that way. Like a lot of things, if you guys follow me on Instagram, every Sunday I drop some type of church video. Right? And I'm really paying homage to my father because a lot of these songs and a lot of these things were things I saw my father do in the church, sing around the house, bangers that I know that he loved, right? And a lot of the times I'm sitting in there the whole time, you guys, people see, they laugh and they think, you know, it's funny, it's relatable because they've been in church and they've seen it. But this is coming from actually a place of tears.
Yeah.
But before I got on that camera, I'm crying because I'm listening to my father.
Yeah, that's
I'm
dope.
watching him, you know what I'm saying, walk around the crib.
That's dope.
And sing these types of things. So like, it's just, you know, it's just funny that like, as an adult, as a man, like as you get older and when you become in tune with yourself and your triggers and what really makes you tick, right? We talk about making other people tick, but when you know what makes you tick,
back out,
right? It makes you, it helps you move accordingly. So like, you know, with that being said, like I gotta give credit to, my parents for that. And I gotta give credit to my experience, bro, and my and the wisdom God gave me to sit back and to look at something objectively. And I think that is like the biggest mistake we make as humans. If like, man, Marcus sat here and said this to me, but he came at me, all right? It's like, but you're not listening. What did he actually say? What did that person criticize until you actually say? My wife would look me in my eye, but babe, like you got all this talent in the world, but how are you gonna get there? What is your plan? What is the step by step? And I'm looking at her like, yo, what you talking about? Like you smoking my like don't come over here with that energy, right? You're smoking mine, but I wasn't able to receive what she's telling me. She's telling me, Josh, write out your plan. What is your step? See it, visualize, right? But it's so crazy. You have to be able to step back,
for sure,
take out your personal feelings,
for sure,
and say like, hey, this is how I need to be. And it's like every situation is different. You speak about your pops, whoever, like that shit is just so important. So important to step back, you know. And then as a creative, you need that.
You gotta get
even more because like when you create stuff, you get sensitive, bro. Your stuff, you're like
it's the best ever.
You know what I mean? It's like, no, you know how much time I put into this, to this 60-second video that you're seeing right now on Instagram. It took me an all-nighter to get this in front of you today, and I got 200 views and 2 comments. But once again, like that's when like comes back to your principles. You're more like, listen, you got to do it for you, and
for sure,
that's another conversation. But it's like that stuff is important to be able to unpersonalize, receive the feedback, understand the situation, and assess accordingly and move accordingly. And I think that, bro, I try to carry that into my work life, into my wife, into my kids. My kids are bad as hell.
They're geniuses.
But it's like, I gotta understand, but it's like, I just know we're gonna have to keep these kids challenged.
Yeah,
that means
sure.
they're gonna be very active.
They're definitely smart.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're
so it's
definitely
like, it's like once you understand that, right? Like, no, my kids are, I say that they're bad. It's just the natural thing that we say they do because they're not listening to you. But I look at my daughter and I'm watching her climb and run and jump and I'm like, yo, she's gonna be a freak. And I'm like, wow, we're gonna have to keep her really engaged in order for her to be successful, right? So it's like, you know, we want geniuses, we want people to be smarter, we want them to be athletes, or we want all these great things and not understand what comes with it.
Yeah.
Right? That's being able to understand,
Yes.
look at things in its entirety, take the personalization out of it.
Yes. Yes.
Josh, I know you're upset. I know you're angry that your daughter's not listening to you.
Yeah.
I know you want to pop her little ass. You know what I'm trying to say? But she's okay.
Yeah.
She's engaging. She's experiencing. She's touching.
Nothing is even about you right
it's
now.
It's not even about you. They're not trying to disrespect you. They're going, you know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy. But some people can't grasp
Some
that.
people can't grasp. Even look. Even like how we talk about all of this, and I just told you how I wouldn't even, because you do have a family,
Right.
married, and in general, just because you're just doing that. You know, a lot of people will hear my perspective, and some of it may go against
What they, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that one of the reasons that is dope, because technically we live opposite,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Technically we live opposite,
Absolutely.
but those
Go ahead.
but the opposite thing, what brings us together is the core. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is dope.
It's crazy because it's the same.
Which is dope because it's the same thing. It's the same thing, which is dope. So I find that sometimes when we have like just having these conversations, you know, people are like more so looking at a person like, well, what is the answer? Like, what are you trying to tell me? Even from you, like after speaking to you, I think you're really keen, or you're really honed in on being honest.
Right.
And I appreciate that about you. And I think more people, even in your situation, like they would look at you like that's goal state. I know a lot of ladies, they want to get married, all that stuff,
absolutely.
right? That's like will bring the ultimate happiness, right? But I appreciate you being able to kind of just be as transparent as possible from your perspective as a married man with kids, really going through the steps. Because it's like you're not really given the answer.
Right. Because there is none.
Because there
is none. And that's what I'm trying to say, because it's like, right, there's always a flip side. And this is where I was just about to go to, because it's like, there's females who's the same females that are so, they love that content. I get it, right? Certain content I put out, certain people, certain crowds, certain response. Them same females that love to see that type of content, right? Because these are the desires that they want.
Yeah.
Right? They want that family. They want a husband who's showing them off the way I would show off my wife.
Yes.
Right? Totally get that. But then I have a following as well who can't stand to see that shit. They want to see Savage Josh. They want to see Josh with his shirt off. They want to. Bro, this is facts of the matter. You're never going to please everybody.
Yes.
You're never going to please everybody. So like, I just, you know, it's a testament. It's important that when I share my experience with people, I give them the raw, real. Like, if you don't think as a married man I struggle or deal with or think about the life as I would be as a single man, looking at I work around other women all day. These are conversations I have with my wife. If my wife ever told me she wasn't attracted to another man, she is lying in my face. You're a human. You have eyes. You have things that you like.
Yeah.
You have preferences. So you can't tell. I look this way. If my wife seen another 6'5", light skin, tatted
you think
guy,
it just goes away?
You think that just that just stops?
So look, check it. On the contrary, like we've spoken on camera, and I definitely want to spoken off camera. Got to say this, like I think there's a misconception. A lot of guys actually want families
That's right.
and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, and I'm not saying for myself it's happened now or later, but it's just dope to hear you talk about it, because I know to many, when I have discussions in my peer group, like, yeah, like 5 years, 6 years, like, that's what I want. Like, in time, like, that's what I want. And yet, I still have those conversations, like, just because of my experience, where it's like, yo, like, that's a goal, but that's part of the equation. It might not give you that fulfillment.
Absolutely.
Or true happiness that you're looking for. Like, you might not be able to place all your happiness in there, but you could maybe place a lot of value. Could be super important, mad love. But I think just hearing you is like, that's not necessarily a completion point.
No.
I think a lot of people think it's a completion point.
It can be, and this is with anything, and this is my opinion on that, is because it just all depends about where you at in your life. If you've done all you wanted to do,
Yeah.
as an individual, you feel like this is the last thing. You know what I'm trying to say? I did the family thing very early in my life, right? And I told you this is very much a part of me. I love my family. I could do that dad shit all day. I really think it's the dopest thing that I'm doing. But that is one side of me. That is not my whole entire existence. I take that very seriously. However, I'm still an individual. I'm still a man with desire. I'm still a man with ambition. I'm still a man with a grind, with a purpose. And I'm in constant pursuit of that. And that's okay. So my point is that, like, to me, it's the reverse. Right? And this is what we came in here talking about. This is the reverse, right? And in 10 years, the way I'm feeling now about the things that I want out of life professionally may not be the same.
May not matter.
It may not even matter.
May not matter,
Right? But it's all just about where you're at in life. Because the same people that are saying in 5 years I want to do that will get there and then be like, well, I don't know what the hell I was rushing to get in here to get in this for. Right? Because it's like, as a human, it's natural for us to always want what we don't have. Instead of being, right, blessed and understanding what God has given us. So it's like, listen, man, that it's not easy. I just need, when I talk to people, I just try to get that understanding. Because people see the happy-go-lucky shit. They see the page, they see the post, and it's real. That's real. But guys, do you understand the work and time that goes into that? And that I'm a human. I'm a human. I still get urges. I still get feelings. I still get all the above. Just like you do as a single person. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you would never, and I could say this on camera because I could say this if my wife was sitting right here. We have these conversations on the daily. You have to. So like, I just love to, I'm blessed in that sense to be able to communicate that effectively. I don't think I always get that across. Some things are not meant for other people to understand, especially women, and vice versa. Women not understand what a man not understand what a woman really needs. But like, it's that effort, right? That constant effort, and I just think it's okay to be two things at the same time. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know.
So all right, here's a one of my final questions. So I'm a big believer of like family, backbone of society, right? You don't have a society if you don't have a family. Reason being goes back to what we spoke about earlier, like creating that culture, right? Outside looking in, and this is why I like just the two sides of the coin thing. Outside looking in, do you think as a whole, like, we're doing a good job of like making that a thing?
I think,
let me just finish real quick, because life has changed. I just want to put it out there so people know I understand that life has changed. We have a lot going on. Individually, it's a huge world. We're all connected through the phone somehow. But I think, like I said, like at core, like that's what makes this thing run. So we need that. But I'm 50-50. I feel like a lot of people are. So I just want to know from your standpoint.
Now, granted, if we were talking about 30 years ago, like I would say, like our parents' generation, I think they had a tougher time doing it. I think our generation is, because especially, I'm talking about particularly ours. We're right in between that millennial and 80s.
Baby boomers, I think they are.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like that 90s, 80s area where our parents in 70s, and even 70s, some even 60s, that our parents grew up in. So we have the little bit of that, right? They was doing things a certain way.
Yes.
And then now we've unpacked everything.
Yes, we've unpacked everything.
We have opened up the box because now it's just forever ever flowing now. So it's like, and it's crazy because like that's how I live life now, right? I'm like being politically correct and also being real and raw.
Yes,
and true.
yes.
You know what I'm trying to say? Because there is a balance. Because like I have nothing against gay folk, but you're not going to tell me I have to want that for my children.
Yes.
I don't care. I don't care what you say.
Or
love who you are. You're not going to tell me I'm wrong for wanting my children to be straight.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like you can't tell me like because that's how I live my life.
Yeah.
Duh. Yeah. I would want my kids to live the same way I live.
For sure.
I'm not saying
that
if they do.
that they're fucked
up. No.
My language.
Yeah. But you're not going to sit here and tell me I can't want this for my children now. And that's where I feel like we're at as a society.
We are.
Like now I'm wrong for believing what I believe. Yeah. No. I don't care who you are. Like,
and that's not even just in that walk of life. I think everybody, and the reason I like that you mentioned back then, we still have this idea that that's the thing to do. And I'm not knocking it because I respect it, right? But it goes back to that overview. It's like, well, like you said, we opened up the box. It's like there's so many ways to live this life now. You don't really know how somebody else goes. you don't really know.
Somebody might take what I just said the wrong way. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Because it's just the truth. It doesn't matter, like, whether it's that lifestyle, whether you want to be single forever, whether you man or woman. Man or woman.
If it works for you.
If it works for you, right? We kind of at that point. But then I go back to the whole, and I guess this is where I don't have the answer. This is where it's like, it's up to you,
to decide,
as an individual, because it's like, at the end of the day, we do need each other.
Right.
Which is crazy.
It's a fact.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. Fact of life.
And you can't, and that's where I like check out. I'm like, well, then I can't tell nobody because this is just where we at.
And it's like we talk about this. It's okay for me to be on this side. I can disagree with you. And I don't have to be opposing you. It's just nothing wrong there. But to answer your question, like I do believe this generation is a lot more conscious of that community, of building that community. Like even though you mentioned, the struggles with your father and things of that nature. Like, you were still able to put that aside now to build the relationship that you have with him now. Sure. And I think this generation, you hear it over and over. Like, I'm gonna be a father to my kid.
You do hear that a lot, and this is true.
So, like, I just think the effort is there. I don't think to me personally, I think it's changed how that can look. It doesn't have to be. And I think it doesn't have to be mom and I think it's important that they're in each other's life. Yeah. I think it's very, very beneficial to have them both home all day, every day. Listen, if it could be that way, awesome. But like, I'm at the point with my life with my wife, I don't care where she go, who she deals with. Those are my kids. You are the mother of my kids. We are family.
Yeah, I feel that.
We are family. No matter where you go.
I feel that. Like that's the truth of the matter. That you know what? That's the truth of the matter. Which is why it's like when people be talking, I'm just like, damn, like y'all crazy because of that. Like
you got to deal with each other forever.
You know what I mean?
I need you. I need my wife to survive. Yeah. I need her to do well. Like that's what I can't understand. And no matter, listen, you go through shit and you hold on and you personalize shit. Right? But to me, like, I got kids. I can't personalize shit. Yeah. I don't care if my wife cheated on me 400
It's like we got to do this
times, bro.
It's like we got to do this.
What, I'm going to wish bad upon her? Yeah. My kids need their mother. I need her thriving, doing well.
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah. It's like,
I don't care.
You know what's funny is that no matter what, like, I mean, the situation you mentioned obviously was drastic, but just the fact that you still go back to the fact, I need her to do I need her. Now, that goes over people's head. I feel like it's like you forget that part. Like you still need that person and you would hope so because they're gonna be around what's yours. You share, like still. Literally, right. So it's like, I like that you even saying that because, if it's in terms of it's funny. If it's in terms of my personal right and wrong, I'm gonna choose married, same roof, all of that, right? But I know, and I've accepted where we're actually at.
Right.
That it's like, yo, we're not really doing that to the T like everybody talks about they want.
Before we stick through it.
You know what I mean? And all of that is, there's a lot of factors. It's not, like we said, the overview. Just our society, just where we're at.
Right.
There's a lot going on out here. You know what I mean?
The box has been open, so like.
Yeah, and I think that you saying that, and once again, I'm not here to give like a solution. We just conversing.
Right.
I don't have.
This
like,
is what works for me.
Yeah. I don't have an answer for that. With that being said, it's like I also realize like right now, and this is how I see it. Right now, it's kind of like, well, there is no right or wrong. Then you know,
Right.
I'm not mad at that. I think people, when they want certain results, should observe more. Like I have, like, I mean, I've come to the conclusion, you want this, you got to live a certain way. You got to go about things a certain way. You don't, then you do this, X, Y, Z. I think people sometimes live in their life wanting results that is like, well, you're not really practicing that. You're not really going about that.
Right.
You're not moving, like I said, it goes back to those principles and things. You're not doing that on a day in and day out. So, you know, you're going to get the fruit that you're producing. Yet I'ma still hold on to those values.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think we all should, because, you know, things are just moving so fast. So it's like, when I do think about just older age, having family and all those things, it would be nice. Like I tell my bros, like, yo, it'd be nice, you live down the block. This is a fairy tale world, but it's like, hey, like we all eating and taking care of each other. You know what I mean? Because that's picture perfect. I mean, I got other things on my agenda too, but it's like utopia.
But I think the foundation is always laid for just that, right? It's built upon, right? Our perceptions are how we grow and branch out, right? We're still rooted.
Yes.
So yes, the plan is to be with my wife and kids to the day I fucking die. You know what I'm trying to say? However, I'm very privy to the hardships of that.
Yes.
I'm very understanding to the point
you hitting, bro.
Of that. Even if that doesn't happen,
people need to be
that doesn't
honest.
mean you're no longer a father.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you was a bad husband.
People need to be. I'm so sorry, because I think like, and I'm not. My cousin has told me his perspective on certain things, and I'm just like, that's like a different level of like maturity and acceptance. Right. You know what I mean?
Easier said than done too.
Easier. That's why I go back to acceptance. That's why I use the word acceptance.
That's a fact.
Because that is easy. Even as I talk, I'm like, man, like, yeah, like that's honest and real.
Let's keep it a stack. A lot of these things that I'm saying is theory, right? It's what I believe.
For sure.
We never know what's in us until we going through that actual thing. So hearing me saying like, oh, if my wife cheated on me 400 times, I was still 100 thrive. Of course, I'm going to go through an emotional state. Of me being upset and angry, and she's like, whatever, the whole nine. Let's be real about this. Of course, but I'm saying let's holistically, when you're out of that stage. And if you're still hating on that person, you know, you got some even deeper issues.
You got to work on that.
You got to work on because you're never going to move on and prosper and grow if that's the case. So like, you know, I just try to live my life with an understanding of, Josh, this thing's bigger than you. It's bigger than you, man.
Yeah. No, and honestly, bro, we're about to cap it right there, because that's the whole point of this conversation. This shit is bigger than me and you talking, I think it's dope, super dope coming from you. Like, we'll probably talk more after this, but I think this super dope coming from you, because that goes back to what I said earlier, just the overview is bigger than you. So when you out here, just know. In a weird way, I mean, it's the truth. We say it, but we're connected. Everybody.
And we don't even realize it. Like, we're literally standing on the opposite of a line. That is love and hate, right? Because if you guys know, love and hate is the same
thing. Indifference is the only
good thing. And bad is the same thing. Bad is people believing in something. They're just on a different. Right? They're just on a different line.
Yes.
They just it's fucked up to you.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Yeah.
But to them, they could be really believing. That's why they're ready to die for
That's why they're ready. But
even
that's why we like the bad guys.
Even the most evil men in the history of this world who've done some of the most fucked up things, in their world, in their
They was right.
perception,
Yeah.
they thought what they were doing was 100,000%.
Yes.
And if society wasn't built the way it was, if it was the other way around,
Yeah.
who would be good, who would be evil?
Word. Word.
It's literally, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, bro, when you like entirety
Entirety.
in this whole, bro.
In this whole.
That's what parenthood and my experience of life has taught me.
Yeah.
100, oh, straight up and down, bro.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, that's raw, bro. This is the rawest conversation. I appreciate you, King.
I appreciate you too.
That ass, bro. Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
for having me, bro.
Yo, it's been a pleasure. It's
know?
been a pleasure. Yo, just my thoughts. I go by Marcus G. Josh Moody, my guy Moody. Make sure you keeping up. It's been a pleasure. That was fire, bro.